Hello to you. We will be continuing on with the discussion of building into Grass Sparrow's Tale from Yang Style Tai Chi. I'm John, and today we're going to be talking about the sort of transition move of hold the ball. Now, hold the ball is not going to be in, if you look at lists for the posture names for the routines and forms and everything like that, you're not going to see hold the ball in with it. It's usually going to be just sort of a transition, sure, that's a word, transition, there we go, sort of movement. And there's a lot of the times I'm speaking more of a Yang style kind of things, I have a little bit more experience with that. The transitions are kind of where the money is in terms of some of even the martial applications. With hold the ball, it's a setup. Again, as a transition, it's getting from one point to another. It's still going to create that sort of spherical ball round motions in the body, holding the body a certain way with that. And it can begin to start leading into what we're going to need for the larger grass sparrows or grass bird's tail series with that. So a couple points to remember too. One of the things we'll be doing is, if you look at how my palms are here, we're going to stay even with the palms, as in it's called hold the ball. So imagine, or if you even have a ball, you can hold a ball and you want to keep your palms on the poles. I've also seen exercises with a Tai Chi ruler, so it's like a foot long kind of stick. And you hold that, again, the palms are going to be on the edges of the stick or on the poles of the ball. And we're going to try and keep the same size, and we're going to need to rotate. So it's not going to be just to hold the ball and we do something weird and awkward and broken down in terms of the unity of the whole body structure. The palms will pivot. So it's not going to be, it has to be here, and it can't do any other sort of weird, sci-fi movie robot destruction kind of dance or anything like that. It's going to be actually rotating and twisting and pivoting, but still maintaining our palms, center of the palms, where the poles of that ball will be. Also, one of the things is when an arm starts getting this up, this in line with the elbow this far up, as you can see, look where my shoulders are. And this shoulder is significantly higher than the other one. If I drop the elbow, that allows the shoulders to stay more even. So this is one of the things this will help show too, is that idea of staying relaxed, staying unified, still staying useful in our movements to create the appropriate applications. Because once that, just for example, that shoulder starts getting too tight and there's too much in here with that deltoid, that separates that arm off from the rest of the whole. So now we have two instead of one at best. So we're going to keep the shoulder down. One of the ways we keep the shoulders down, keeping the elbows down. I do have a video of if we're keeping our arm with wrist raised, how we keep that shoulder down and do it correctly is rotate. So the radius and ulnar rotation is going to be what helps create that sort of deflection, the block, and the support if there's force coming in this way. And if we're here, it's going to be the same. So we're making that, we talked about pung when we talked about some of the other things with the, when I was reading out of the books and everything like that, that ball, that expansive thing, this helps keep that, keeping that elbow down, because now the whole body, the architecture of the skeletal structure is supporting even out to here, as opposed to just trying to with the arm itself. I'm a little taller than average, I guess, but I'm not that tall. I'm fairly kind of skinny, and 12-year-olds are like twice my size anymore, so I'm not overpowering anybody. I'm not over-strengthening anyone. I'm not, super string bean, can't get off the couch or anything like that. I'm okay shape, but I'm not overpowering anybody. This is not going to happen. So, how do I maintain keeping myself safe, keeping myself effective with like sparring or push hands or swaija or sancho or anything like that? How do I keep myself safe at work when I have to deal with, again, kids who are twice my size trying to hit me or tear my ears off and, aren't done spitting at me or biting on me or anything like that? Is I got my internals. So I've got to have it set a certain way in order to not only maintain the appropriateness with the health and the qigong and the meditative aspects with the taiji, but also even with safety with it in a world where everyone's bigger than me. So we're going to start. The same hand's going to be on the same side in terms of height. So if you're this way and your arm's coming across for this exercise, that's not what we want. We want same hand, same side. We're just going to start right in with, as my right hand, right, good, got it. My right hand here, about shoulder height with the wrist. So in line, wrist, shoulder height. You're going to see that in yang style kind of a lot, even with like single whip and things like that. The line from wrist, shoulder, wrist, across. We're going to come here. Again, I can fit if I even come in a little bit more, if I want to bring it in a little bit more, I'm still not changing that, crushing that fist under that arm. We want to maintain at least a fist distance between the body and the arm. Palms flat down. This is about wrist height. We can go about hip height here. So the bottom hand is going to scoop underneath. So I'm not dead arm, just moving my arm, kind of whatever. It's not just pointing. It's not tight or pushing. It's scooping under. Little sidebar here. At no point from the beginning of when you're playing an internal routine till the end or the close or however you're doing that is anything just dead. What I mean by dead is what I showed you with the bottom of that hand. So if this is kind of where I'm thinking for my application and my hand's just here, whatever. And this is no good because again, just like tightening that shoulder, you're just out all the energy from it. And it's going to take a while, like filling a bathtub after you pull the plug, for that to kind of fill back up and be effective. If you can keep it in the whole unit with the interchange of yin and yang going on, but contiguous with it, then it's going to be much more efficient in how you're going to use it. In any of the aspects, it helps keep the mindfulness going on, the health, keeping the everything flowing and moving around in qigong, all that correct. And now if we talk about the martial applications, you're not having that split second or so of dumping and then, oh, I got to get this back in, and then bringing it back up. You don't have that. Those couple seconds are really important because that's all it takes to get just punched in the face, which isn't fun. If you've never been punched in the face, I don't recommend it. And if you have been punched in the face, I'm sure you understand. We're going to try all to never get punched in the face again. So don't just dead hands. There's no dead arms. So again, if now we're talking about maybe like brush knee, brush knee, we come up and come out and open. And here, this hand here isn't just kind of whatever. Even if we're doing like simplified, where it comes in and everything more presses out, I'm not here with the hand, just wiggle, no good. That's dead arm. It's still separating out, creating those extra seconds that you don't want to waste with it. So now, finally going to get into actually doing hold the ball 10 minutes later. So, my right hand, shoulder height, palm down. Left hand scoops underneath, palm up. Now this is my navel, so here's my dantian. Again, we breathe in, pull the dantian in, exhale, push forward, breathe in, pull in, exhale, push forward. I've talked about dantian and breathing multiple times. It's big on my list of things to gripe about in terms of what people don't teach. So I'm going to make sure that it's reviewed. Breathe in, pull in, exhale, push forward, 2 inches below the navel, inch into the body. So this is holding the ball, right hand on top. Now again, we're going to keep the palms on the poles. My left hand here, because it's down, is yin. I want to get it yang on the other side. So how do I do that? I'm not just no good, no taiji. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate up as my other hand rotates back. So from the side, it's going to look like, think Long Chen Fu kind of had a belly. So pretend you're just kind of moving over the belly. So my left hand is coming up, my right hand stays back. I'm maintaining that pull on each palm. So if one hand is up, one hand under, bottom hand comes forward, top hand comes back. So as I'm here, now what I do, this is where the rotating of the palms is really going to come in handy, because this is where I'm rotating to the other side. So you see, especially this hand in the back does a lot of the rotating. I'm rotating on the wrist, so my fingers are going up, curving kind of forward, and pointing to the side. So what was the bottom hand is now the top hand. What was the top hand is now the bottom hand. And we've rotated the palms and the directions of the fingers. So, and same thing going the other side, only we've changed hands. So the bottom hand is still going to come forward, the top hand is going to come back. And now rotate, especially that back hand. Rotate, 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 scoop. So we want that scoop underneath. So we got a kick. Oh, get that kick. Not in your place. It's my super adult word for that right now. So I got my right hand again on top, my left hand scooping underneath. That left hand comes up, right hand comes back. I'm now center. And now I rotate to my left. Left hand on top, right hand underneath. Now, same thing as before. I'll probably have another thing on this, if I haven't already, is shoulders and hips in line. The center axis from the bai hui to the hui yin. Crown of the head to the perineum is what we rotate on, keeping the shoulders and the hips in a square. So what I'm doing is twisting my hips. Twisting my hips, twisting my hips. And it's going to be in concert with where my hands are. So if my hand is now on my right side, I'm twisting to the right. When my left hand comes up, my right hand comes back, I'm straight, forward, square, out. When I rotate over, forgive his shin's thirsty apparently. And now I'm going to go back to the other side. So I'm twisting left, which means my left hand is on top, same hand, same side, scooping underneath. I come up and forward and rotate to the right. So I've turned my hips right, right hand on top, left hand underneath, again pivoting on the palms. So here, my left hand comes up, my right hand comes back, and I'm going to rotate to my left. And now I'm going to come forward again. So when I come forward again, that means my hips square forward to you, and I'm rotating to my right so my hips go right. And we can continue. Now, one of the things we can do, we can actually, if you want, you can hold this, hold this in here, and you have however many minutes you want to do for standing meditations. This can be a moving meditation, it can be part of your silk reeling practice, part of your qigong practice, and even can be part of the applications practice as well. I get some other people in when I get the opportunity, and they get the opportunity. Hopefully we can start showing how that can be as well. But we're going to do this a few more times. Let's practice hold the ball. Nice little transition move. You're going to see it a lot in Yang style. A little bit in Chen style instead. It pops up in a lot of the other ones. But this is more Yang style based. So right hand on top, left hand underneath. Left hand wraps around like that big belly. Left hand circles back. Or right hand circles back, I'm sorry. And over. And come back with the right, lift, come up with the right, back with the left, forward. Now I'm rotating, so my left hand scoops underneath, my right hand is on top. And now, since the left hand was at the bottom, it's going to come up, forward, and rotate to the left. So the right hand comes up, left hand back, rotate, twisting, hold the ball, right hand on top, and switch. So we can breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. If you want, you can breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. I'm showing this because this is what's going to be a little bit more when we start getting into grass bird's tail. Breathe in. Everything gathers. Breathe out. Here's where you express and expand. Breathe in and gather. Breathe out and expand. Again, from this lower dantian. Breathe out. Breathe in. Here's where the meditation and qigong comes in. Everything moving together mindfully. Keeping the shoulders over the hips, the crown over the perineum, the bai hui over the hui yin. Again, I apologize for slaughtering any pronunciations. And keep on rotating. Side to side. Good. So I say side to side. Last thing for clarification's sake is I don't mean completely like my feet are here, my body turns completely 90 degrees this way, because you can't do it. And my hips are only going to go so far, and then my chest can keep going, but then that breaks that alignment that I want to be here. A lot of the times, and I'm going to talk about this more, especially when we come in with the feet, I'm a big stickler for this, is basically there's almost a 90-degree cone from your center that's going to be comfortable for you to maneuver in, and that can shift. So a lot of times if you see things like if we do like Xingyi, for example, my back foot's at 45, my front foot is straight. Now, if I'm playing like Pao Chuan, and I come out this way, my front foot is still straight, my back foot is at 45, I've just shifted, boom, where I am in that 90-degree cone. So the back foot's going to be at 45, the front foot's straight. Now if my navel is pointing towards the corner, then that means it's going to shift this way. So if you're looking at my original direction and counting that as straight, then I have my back foot straight, my front foot is 45, but my hips are going that way, so that's where my straight is. So it's the reference frame has shifted a little bit. So there's that sort of 90-degree cone that's going to maintain that unity of body posture. And a lot of times it's going to be cut straight down that center line of your body. So it's in 45-degree segments. You're not going to have perfect 45-degree segments with your feet. It's going to be the best that you can do with it, what feels comfortable for you. I'm pigeon-toed, so I have to kind of cheat that back foot out maybe a little bit more than someone else who's got normal bones and joints. Someone who's duck-footed might have to kind of nudge it in a little bit more with that too. Again, I'm going to talk about it especially more with the feet, but it's going to be what we talked about here with the hips. I got that 90-degree swing from corner to corner with that passing that center line when the hands are in front. That's like close, isn't it? We're right here. So this is where that center is, and those are the 45s for me. Altogether, 90-degree cone of sort of comfortable influence with the body. So a lot of talk about a lot of other stuff and a little bit of the practical application, or at least the practical movements, and getting into application a little bit later. So that's it for right now. I will keep going, keep building on this. I'm going to do my best to find a nice place to be able to set up so you can see kind of the feet a little bit more, because I want to start getting into stepping and talking about that angle a little bit more, as well as the appropriate pattern for stepping. I've talked about both and other things, but I want to encapsulate this sort of playlist as best as I can for right now. So the usual like, share, etc., etc., and we will keep going as time goes on. Thank you for watching. Have fun.